Look at that smiling mug right there, man. If you're just doing the audio thing, then you're not getting the full effect of what you could be getting if you were on the YouTube version of today's Gold Ball Hunting podcast,
Yeah.
episode number something. We're 180 plus. We're just about halfway to the 1 year commitment that we made to each other back in January, dude.
That's right. It's awesome.
So
It's cool. I think it's cool. I mean, somehow we've, you know,
not grown to
here
hate
we
each,
are.
not grown to hate each other, or you go,
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
doing another one of these things with you, Abel. That's it. I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not trolling my own comment section, writing crap about you.
That's right. At least not yet. Well, I'll give it a few more
Not
episodes.
yet anyway.
Hey,
Yeah.
well, listen, guys, thanks for hanging out with us again. My name is Brent Abel. That is Jeff Jacklich next to me. Today I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area, a little east of San Francisco, Berkeley, Moraga, our Northern California home. Drove up here yesterday from the desert. It was, it was kind of toasty down there, but boy, starting tomorrow, I think, Jeff, it's going to get some serious heat down there. I mean, we're talking 110 plus.
Oh, that's like where you're playing tennis and you just spontaneously burst into flames,
Yeah, yeah. You look down at your skin and it's going, gosh, I can
Yeah.
hear it kind of sizzling down there.
Crackle.
Yeah. Anyway, but I'm back up here for a while. And so, guys, listen, we got a kind of a cool. Jeff doesn't know. I got a question for him today. He doesn't know what's coming at him, but it's important. I get a lot of questions from you guys about this topic, and we're going to put Jeff on the hot seat in terms of how he handles this situation. And and before we get into that, a couple things we want to get to you. If you're new to gold ball hunting, what we want to help you do is a couple things. I mean, we want to help you reduce your skill level range, and Jeff and I shot a video months ago about how to do that. That skill level range thing is where one day you play great, next day you don't, and there's a difference between those skill levels. Let's say you're a 4.0, and one day you go out there and you knock them dead. You're a 4.2. And the next day you come out thinking, I'm on my way to 4.5, and you play like a 3.6. And you're going, wow, how is it possible? And so it is possible. And a lot of players are afflicted with that skill level range malaise.
There's a good word.
Yeah. And
Malaise.
so we want to make sure that you reduce that skill level range so that every day when you go out there, Jeff, whether it's singles or whether it's doubles, you know how you're going to play.
Yeah.
And hopefully it's at the top of that skill level range day in and day out. And so we got a video to help you reduce that skill level range. Go over to goldballhunting.com, drop in your first name, your email address, click the button, and you'll get access to that private video. That is free. We want to give it away to you. And then the other thing you're to get from this is you'll get access to our online calendar scheduler where you can choose a date and time to get on a free 10-minute coaching call with me and Jeff and three of us. It's a conference call. It's private. It's free. 10 minutes might not sound like a long time, but it is if you'll bring that one thing that you think is holding you back from getting that skill level range reduced to where you want it so you can start consistently getting the results you want out of your tennis game. So those two things are there for your taking, goldballhunting.com. Jeff, one of the most common questions I get, and I'm sure that you do as well, is, how do you close out a set? Let's say you're up a break, and I want to hear it more from your own personal experience rather than from take off the teaching pro hat and put on more of the from you as an experience. And for me, I mean, I struggled in the beginning when I started playing tournaments. I wasn't a great junior player. I played mostly baseball as a kid, and then really didn't get going until my early 30s, where I finally got with Tom Stowe and got a chance to work with him. But even then, I still, and he was more of the X's and O's and more of the stroke technique. And I only had a short period of time with him, unfortunately, before he passed away. But it took me a while to figure out how to close out. And, look, it's never a guarantee. This is not like all of a sudden, Jeff goes, well, here's how I did it. Here's how you should do it. And boom, for the rest of your tennis career, you're never going to cough up. But the point here is how do you close these things out more often? So, for me, I went through that period of not being able to do it, and finally sort of figuring out a way. What's been your experience, Jeff, as a player? What's kind of been was there ever an epiphany or sort of one aha moment that you went through to help you kind of close out sets?
I think, for me, it was kind of a gradual progression. Because each time I found myself kind of stepping up another rung on the ladder from playing the men's open events to then struggling first and second round to then kind of dabbling in third round quarters and then literally having nothing less, I think, than like a semifinal finish in any tournament I played in NorCal. And so each time the challenge then was presented again, because now I'm dealing with these players consistently every week, and playing at that level, which is another level that you have to perform at in order to win these events, to be in the hunt like that. So for me, it was kind of as much as each level though is kind of an epiphany moment. you revisit it again at the next level, because there's new challenges, because the guy across the net from you has better mental capabilities than the last, level that you crossed over, and just so on and so on down the line. So for me, I had to break the chains of thinking I have to play better now. That was probably the biggest epiphany, was this is not the time for new tactics. This is not the time to play better. This is not the time to come up with some new genius strategy. This is the time to play journeyman tennis. And that statement itself came from, I learned that from Rich Anderson at Kenyatta College, legendary NorCal coach, was understanding what that statement meant, journeyman tennis. That meant at 5-4, after having won the first set 5-4, now it's time to get dirty. Meaning, I'm going to come away with bloody knees if I need to dig out the first volley. I'm going to be that low. I'm going to grind that first volley. I'm serving and volleying. I'm a California-raised hardcourt serving volleyer. So for me at that time, that was my primary play. I'm going to do something to make this guy cough up a return somehow, and I'm going to do the work, the physical labor of getting in there in the trenches, grinding out the first volley and making this guy come up with the goods. I'm going to make him touch the ball to win the point. And that kind of became my own personal mantra in this process, that every time I kind of felt that wave come over me, like, oh, I got an idea, step off the line, take a deep breath, make him touch the ball to win the point. And like I said, it just comes down to doing the journeyman work. I don't need a winner volley here. I need to make my first volley here. And if that means hitting it up the center of the court because he hit a great return, so be it.
Right.
Make him touch the ball again. So for me, that's really where it all starts. And then from there, the ability to actually, have a broader sense of, I've been throwing the heat on the first serve. It's going good. I noticed the last couple of games, even though I'm serving for the match, my serve timing is a little bit off here. So you know what? Right out of the gate at Love, I'm throwing a big kicker in my first serve high up into the backhand. I know I'm going to get 2 extra steps into the net, and I know he's going to have to play the ball up out of his strike zone, up around the eyeballs. Probably he's going to give me something to look at. So now I'm building a strategy looking for the volley. I'm not looking to get away with it. He might give me a free point, but that's not the plan. The plan is I got to get the ball up and out of the strike zone. I'm going to get a couple extra steps because I'm actually serving the ball slower, which is going to put me a little bit closer proximity on that first volley. So then from that point, the building of strategies and tactics kind of then starts to flow, but it flows from a very kind of clarity, the clarity of thinking about what's a good plan right now, not, hey, I haven't tried this yet plan. That category is the one that most people live in.
Yeah.
And that's the one you gotta just delete in your programming and shift over to something that's a little bit more tangible.
Well, that's good. I think, you brought up a couple of good things, and that's one of them for sure, is that, first of all, when you get to, when you're up a break and you're serving for the set or you're serving for the match, is that you don't have to play better to quote unquote close it out. And I think that's another thing we got to get out of players' minds, is stop thinking about closing it out, even though that was how I teed up the question. But I think that's one of the epiphanies that we get to, is that wow, I don't really have to actually play any better. I mean, so for me it was kind of the same thing. I used to think I got to play better. No, I don't. All I've got to do is what you described, which is let's get the first serve in for sure, and we'll just take it from there. I think the other thing that you said is that week after week. Now, look, a lot of senior players don't have the opportunity, the schedule, to be able to play tournaments week after week after week. But you still have to put yourself in that situation often enough to where you sort of get desensitized to, all right, it's 5-3, I'm serving, big whoop. I've been here before, I've done this. The last couple of times I thought I had to play better. Well, let's stop doing that. Let's just play JGA style journeyman ball and see what happens. And so,
and let me jump in there on that. And that's it doesn't mean you're serving and balling. It means I'm making my first serve, and can I create that opportunity to get around and hit a good forehand as a good heavy forehand with margin. Again, but can I make those first two balls of the highest quality I can in that moment?
That's right. That's right. And I also think that if you're trying to overcome the, how do I close out a set? How do I close out a match? I keep getting tight at those moments. Well, drilling mindlessly off the ball machine ain't going to get you over that hump. The only way you're going to learn how to do it is to put yourself in enough situations, as you talked about with tournaments or league matches or, practice matches. And you've got to make sure that you're playing enough sets during the week that you give yourself an opportunity. And we talked recently about some drills you can do. That's one way. But the reality is even the drills don't recreate the same tension or the same feeling that you get when you're serving for the set at 5-3 or 5-2 or 5-4 or whatever it is. And so I think it's a combination of realizing you don't have to play better, and that if you do try to play better, it's going to be a recipe for more unforced errors. You're going to, and it's not, a lot of guys think, God, I keep choking. Well, okay, it's if we really kind of look back and we look at the points, you're just going for too much. I mean, the choke is that you don't trust that playing standard tennis, and I hate using the term, what got you there? I mean, who knows what got you there? It doesn't matter. But just don't try to go off, the reservation with, as you said, I love it. I'm going to try something here I haven't tried since I was 6 years old. Which was with a little soft orange, big round puffy ball, and and
it worked then, right?
What worked then?
Well, the other thing too is, you have to be willing to have a little clarity at that moment in the tournament. At that moment, maybe it's first round, right? Maybe you're a guy that struggles in first round. and you have some wins and maybe you don't, but always comes down to, God, Jeff, I won the first set. I was up 5-2 in the second, and I couldn't get it done, and then, and so, you have to have that moment at 5-2. You're serving for it to make a new decision. Make a new decision, and that decision can be pre-planned. You can have it on like 3x5 card in your bag.
Sure.
And literally, when you do the changeover, you're going to get your water, get your towel, get quiet, look at the card. That you've already made the choice as to how you're going to respond. And whatever that choice is, then do that, and do it for the whole stinking game, and be happy with the consequences, and know that, okay, I made a new decision today. I had opportunities. I was kind of in uncharted waters because I'd never actually been in that situation before, where I actually hit this journeyman serve. I got a forehand and I hit this journeyman response, and then I got the short ball, and then I kind of overcooked it. But that was new charted waters, because now you actually felt like you were in the point. And so now we have a new decision to make. That now when I get the short ball, it's still a 2-shot combination. And maybe we'll handle that in the next match, right? I mean, whatever that might be. Even if we lose that match, the next tournament, the next practice set, okay, I understand that level now. I mean, I think players have to really get this, that this stuff happens. It can happen in big chunks, but the epiphany of moving a point from one stage to the next stage to the next stage happens a stage at a time.
Yeah, yeah.
And so anyway, I just want to throw that in there, that you and not solve world peace. Let me just get to this and do this one thing.
Yeah. Hey, well, listen, as you were chatting there, you were talking, it brought up to me my memory of when I won my second gold ball. All right, my first gold ball I won when I was in the 35s, doubles deal.
Are you? I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna interrupt you, Brenny. Are you still recording? Because your picture has frozen for me.
Yeah, well, yours froze for me a little bit, but I am still recording.
Okay, there you are. You're back.
Am I back? Okay, yeah, good. So I was mentioning that the second gold ball I won was literally 25 years after I won my first. And the joke was afterwards, well, you win a gold ball, Brent, every 25 years, whether you need to or not, right? So, But anyway, so I was playing the great Hugh Thompson, the finals, 60 hard court, Mission Hills, and I won the first set 6-4, and I'm serving at 5-4 in the second for the match. And I get to match point, it's add in, and I start to get a little, all right, what can I do here to kind of close it out? And double fault.
All right, what a surprise.
Double fault. And then I get another match point. Add in again. Double fault. And I'm starting to just really kind of choke this thing away, right? So then I get like the third match point, and I miss first serve, and I just barely get in the second serve. And he actually gives me a volley I can handle. It's all serve and volley then, and I just think I got to stick the volley, wide. I stick it wide, And so here I am trying to think, well, what do I? And so finally, I swear to God, Jeff, it must have been my fifth or sixth match point in that game, and this thing's going on. It's not like there's 1,000 people. There's maybe 11 people. I don't know. But they're all agonizing up there with me. They're all pulling for me. And so finally I just said, screw this thing. I'm throwing in a high bouncer for a second serve, and let's just get it started. So I throw in this high bouncer for a second serve. I go, screw it. Just hit the forehand volley over there. So I hit the forehand volley over there, and Hugh goes over there. It's his pass into the middle of the net. And I go, God, it's this easy? This is all I had to do?
Yeah.
And
I just wasn't, the universe is conspiring to make me a success. I just haven't been listening.
That's right. So, look, that was a big epiphany for me. I mean, as much as great as it was to win a singles title, the takeaway for me was even bigger than that. It was like, you know what, man, you're really your perception of what you think you got to do at these
Yeah,
big moments, is forget the closeout thing. That's the phrase. Got to get out of your mind, and let the guy participate in giving you the W.
yeah,
And it's hard to trust that. It's really,
absolutely.
really tough to trust that because what does that mean? I mean, it must mean that we don't think that we can play two or three shots in a point
Right.
and be okay.
And let's. I'm going to throw this in there too, because it's not a constant constant thing. It's not this perfect plateau of performance. It's time to close it out. This is my decision. Here's what's going to happen, and I'm going to do this. There's clarity in that, but if I've gotten the break and it's now it's 5-4, I won the first set, blah blah blah, and I'm serving well, right? Maybe my service games, even though it's a tight match, my service games are quick, and I'm winning most of my service games at love and at 15. And I'm feeling good. I don't need to try and serve better. I'm going to go ahead and just tee it up because I'm in the flow there. So I also don't want to tell everybody that now you don't have to hit your best serves, but are you trying to do more with the serve at this point than what you've been doing? If I'm feeling good and I'm in the groove, I'm going to pick my spots that I've been hitting all day, and I'm going to go there because I have historical proof through this match that I'm on today.
Right.
But if I'm not serving better than say 50% or so, or less, I really got to rethink my strategy at that point. Going back to my second round match down at Indian Wells, the hard courts, playing the national 55 hard courts, I think, playing the third seed, second round, and I win the first set 6-2. I have many opportunities second set, find myself in a tiebreaker in the second. I find myself serving at 2-5 in the breaker. And my clarity for everybody is he's been trying to get around and hit big on my second serve all day, and he hasn't done it well. So I go, okay, I'm going to throw in a big kicker on my first serve. I'm going to go at the body, so I know he's going to get around and try and hit a forehand. I hit the mark, and he dishes up a duck for me. Okay, now I just hit that ball down into the open court. Boom, 3-5. Next point, same plan, same plan. I do it again, and he launches it into the fence. Now he's serving at 5-4, and he's lost some momentum, and he's a little frustrated now because I just gave him two forehands that he just cupcaked. And so and I end up winning the next 3 points, right? So to win the match at 7-5 in the breaker. And so anyway, I just want everybody to know that there's sometimes the tactic is to understand where you're at in the match, and sometimes the tactic is to, I hate to use the term again, just like that, keep doing what you're doing, but you have to know what it is you're doing. You have to know what it is that got you there, and are you in the flow on your serve when it comes to that point? So anyway.
Yeah, the whole thing about keep doing what you're doing it sounds so easy, and it sounds like, you idiot, why can't you keep doing what you were doing? Well, look, it's a much deeper emotional thing than that. I mean, it really takes some serious. First of all, it takes, as you just said, what is it that I've been doing? Because
Right.
once you get to that point at 5-4 serving, is that it becomes confusing. It's like this thought comes in your mind going, God, I hope I don't choke. Hope I can close this thing out. I hope the guy will give it to me. What are the guys on the deck going to think? Blah blah blah, all this kind of stuff. And now you have no idea what got you to this point. All that information is gone. All that feeling, and
Right.
and lots of times, keep doing what you were doing is a feeling. It's not so much a hard and fast X's and O's
Right.
strategy based on
Right.
tactics. It is a feeling that you have in your body. And sometimes it's instinctive, right? Sometimes, like you said, it's just instinctive. Well, you know what? I'm just going to go back to, just kind of throw that kicker and let him go. If you've got all this tension in your mind about trying to close this thing out, that thought will not come to you. You will not
Right.
give
Right.
yourself You will not have the clarity to do that. So, look, I get it. It is not as easy as just keep doing what you were doing, because number one, you've got to know what you were doing, and number two, and really number two, the whole thing is just don't think you got to play better. Don't think you have to play better.
Circling back, that's really, for me, that's always the
thing.
The clarity I need to have, that kind of clarity.
Good.
And in the match I just described, that was clarity to understand. I don't need to do something big here. I don't need to try and claw my way back into the breaker here. I need to recognize things that have been happening along the pathway, and then how do I use that to my advantage here, and let him participate in helping me win this.
Well, look, I mean, and look at that. I mean, you won the first set easily. You were up in the second set, and now you find yourself in a breaker, and you're down 2-5 in the breaker. I'm sure there was at some point in your playing career where you got a little agitated with yourself. And you started thinking, God dang it, I just coughed this thing up. What was I doing? Oh, that's right. 15 minutes ago, I was thinking about the beer I was going to have after the match and who I was going to talk to and all this other kind of stuff and who I'm going to be playing tomorrow. And now all of a sudden, I'm down 2-5 in the breaker. You moron, come on. Why do you do this all the time, right? And so there's kind of that jump from that mindset to, well, what's worst case here? Well, worst case is we go in the third set. All right. Okay. Yeah, I got a little lazy there. Had a little mental walkabout. Okay. All right. I guess I could go in the third set, but maybe there's something I was doing before. Oh, that's right. I was throwing the serve. He was throwing the serve. He was running around the forehand and not doing too much with it. So,
right.
Jeffrey, good stuff today. Guys, listen, we would love to read and respond to any comments you've got about closing out sets, closing out matches. What's happening to you? What do you think's happening at that moment where it's not happening for you, where you're not getting the job done? We want to help you get it done. A couple ways to do that. Number one, go over to goalballhunting.com, put in a first name and email address. Click the button and you'll get access to two cool things. Number one, a video Jeff and I did, private but free, how to reduce your skill level range day in and day out. And then number two, you'll be presented with our online calendar scheduler where you can cherry pick a date and time that works best for you to get on a private, free phone call with the three of us, you, me, and Jeff, and we'll kind of set you on the path to getting the result that you want. Guys, I guess before we do that, Jeff, what we like the fine folks to do right now?
Well, we'd love you to like us, share us, please subscribe. Let us know what you think down below.
Beauty. Guys, get out there today, wherever you are. Help someone else have a spectacular day. We're going to do this again tomorrow, Jeffrey.
Can't wait.